What's up, guys? Welcome back. We've got the front nine coverage of the second skins match coming to you guys, and I got my buddy Rob here going to do some commentary with me.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Eli. We're playing the yellow course here at Craighead Forest. A little cold. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, let's get after it. We got some new guys and some old guys. We're bringing back Mark, Bruce, and Elijah. And for the new guys, we've got Rob, Coleton, and my little brother Ethan. We got hole 1, par 3, 227. You got two different lines there. One is a forehand for righties that's through that little gap on the left, or you've got a backhand little flex shot that's super tight, that pink line there. Looks like we've got Ethan coming up with maybe a putter or some kind of slow mid there. Trying for that left gap just off the first tree.
Yeah, we got a little early round shenanigans here with this disc flying up, but we got Mark taking care of that.
I mean, it's hard. Like, you got two different courses here at Craighead, so you got people throwing in on holes, especially a lot of new peoples, which is super awesome to see. But they just don't have quite the etiquette yet, so we tossed it back to them and kept going on our way.
Let's see what Bruce has here. He's got a nice backhand, but unfortunately does hit an early tree.
Looks like he was lining up that harp that he's been throwing all the time.
Mark, traditionally a forehand player, primarily tries that outside gap. Catches something too, I think.
Looks like he got maybe halfway up the fairway, so that might be some kind of a jump putt for him. This hole's not too terribly long. But like we said, it is super cold, and the wind is about 10 miles an hour, maybe 30 degrees. So these guys are still trying to get warm.
Yeah, definitely you can see Elijah there, and he's lining up the flick route as well.
Maybe gets it out just a hair too wide, and he kind of obscured the camera view there. We're having some difficulties with that catch cam, but it looks like he got about halfway up the fairway as well.
All right, now my partner Coleton, who, no spoilers, but does have just a nice smooth backhand.
Yeah, he's not been playing for many years, but he just joined the A-State team, and he's got one of the smoothest forms in Jonesboro, for sure.
Yeah, and here I am lining up that flick route. I like to play the flick on most holes if I have the opportunity, so let's see. Hit a tree. We'll be taking my buddy's lie. I think he actually got a pretty sweet bounce, you'll see.
Yeah, he got a nice tree kick there. It's hard to tell on the footage. Yeah, it looks like Bruce lining up another harp forehand. He's pretty dialed in from this distance.
Yeah,
Hits one of those trees and drops a little short.
Gotta think he's running that, just knowing Bruce's mentality, knowing he's got a partner.
And with two people for doubles, you know, either one person lay it up and the second person run it, or the first person run it and the second person lay it up. It looks like the run it and layup was the choice there.
Now it looks like we got Mark here with a long putt.
Just wide, skipping to about, 20 to 30 feet long of the basket, which is not what you saw from the last skins match where he was making lots of big putts like that, especially for those jumpers.
Now we got Elijah. I gotta bet he's gonna have his patent step putt here. Let's see if he can nail it.
He told us the other day at the putting league that he's been working on that really hard and heavy, and you can see it there just from long range, just connecting with metal and making sure not to airball. You would rather see him make that, but it is cold. First hole, there's still some money left out there. Bruce just off the cage short. That's another putt that these guys wish they would have made. Ethan's been putting really well lately too. Got a lot of power with that spin just off the top.
Yeah, and they left the door open now for me and Coleton to get some cash.
Yeah, and you're seeing that result of Coleton's great tree kick there off of his drive, getting him to about 15 to 20 feet. Just a nasty spit out there from Rob. I'm sure that's not what you're expecting when that first came out of your hand.
Nah, felt pretty good, but could have used a little more snap. There's the partner, though.
Just squeaking it in the backside, and there's that smile all around, taking $10 on the first hole. In traditional skins fashion, if one team wins the hole, it resets the scores. If all teams score the same, or two teams tie for the best score that pushes on. We got hole 2, par 3, 215. Got a really skinny gap up the left side, or the traditional wider hyzer that most of these guys are going to be throwing.
Yeah, and I'm busting out a big germ mortar right here, trying to play that right gap, let it hyzer softly towards the basket. And that was just a shank.
Not quite what you want to see out of some of these guys, but I mean, I think some of the excuses today are it's going to be cold and windy, so I think there's some excuses to say for these guys, maybe. There's that buttery smooth backhand we were just talking about.
That's a partner, my friends, right there.
Just laying it up inside the circle, probably within 10 feet. Couldn't ask for much better unless it was in the basket. Now Mark's been really working on his backhand, so y'all don't give him too much hate for it. It's coming together really far. He's only been doing it for about a month or two, so he's really improving quick. But he still has a ways to go. So we're hoping Elijah can pick him up for this hole.
And that just looks like a great shot. Coming in nice and soft, should nestle up right there in circle 1. E-Dog, clutch money.
So with two teams, what looks like to be parked, you would hope that these next team would go for maybe some ace runs, trying to get in on this action. We'll see what they can come up with.
Bruce getting sneaky up the middle.
Man, that was so... I don't know if that was lucky or if that was what he intended. Either way, it worked out. So we'll give him credit for that one. We'll say that's what he intended to do there.
Yeah, he just made, a few calculations off of my throws. Got it through there.
Maybe a little more turn, a little glidier or something like that.
That's what he did.
Looks like Ethan snuck up there to the green as well. And there's one he's going to want back for sure.
Yeah, it did take us a little while to heat up on the green especially.
I mean, there's 2 holes in a row right here. Bruce is hoping to capitalize here. But nobody really started out super hot, and he just missed that somehow. But there's another cleanup for par. So we're pushing on to hole 3. Worth 2 skins. Hole 3, par 3, 329. Just trying to throw something dead straight. There is a road that runs to the right of the fairway. Anything road or across is out of bounds. But the fairway is nice and wide, so there is plenty of room to get aggressive on this one.
All right, and Coleton's just lacing that one straight down. Fades a little to the left at the end, but we will be right on the edge of circle right there for a putt.
Now the tricky thing about this hole is at the basket, right behind it on the right side, there's about a 20 to 30 foot drop off with a hill. So you got to be careful coming into this green off the drive or running your putts, because if you miss the basket and it skips up or rolls, you've got a long treacherous putt either back up the hill or a tough putt for 3. Looks like Mark throwing a D1 out wide, nice and stable disc. Maybe a little more turn than he wanted, but he should be pretty far down there as well.
Yeah, probably planning to get that big skip back to the basket, and we'll see how it ended up for him. All right, we got Elijah nailing a tree right off the bat. I have seen him ace this hole with that same exact disc, though, so you can just tell that the cold weather is coming into play.
It was a Darth Maul stamped Maul, so if that's not a mouthful, I don't know what is. Ethan lining up an EMAC Truth there. Not quite getting a turn, maybe a touch too much angle of hyzer there for him, but that should be a putt for these guys. So far, nobody looking super great on the greens, just some long putts, maybe just outside circle 1. But they're still in range for some putts to be made.
You can see Bruce going with that power flick, maybe turning it over a little bit.
Maybe just a touch too much, nothing quite crazy. None of these guys had great drives. It looks like he might have ended up a little too long. Elijah taking that smart doubles play, laying something up Not quite as close as he wanted to be to the basket, but still in makeable range for those two.
Mark dropping down to a knee. Let's see if he can get any closer.
Maybe just slipped out of his hand. Not quite as good as Elijah's, but I mean, Elijah did get close, so it takes a little bit of the pressure off of him.
Got Bruce lining up a big jump putt here. Me and Coleton are pretty close.
Looks like just over the top of the band. Pretty close, gave it a good bid. Ethan's going to be trying to get really aggressive on this one to try to put the pressure on you guys. And just sinks it in. Man, that was absolutely sweet. Let's see that on replay. I mean, just a little bit of Anheuser out of his hands, enough glide to get it all the way to the basket, and just barely squeaks it inside the rim there.
Just clutch, just clutch. Now I got the pressure on. We'll see if I can push this hole.
Not too terribly far, but remember that hillside is in the back, so it comes in play. You can just see that disc disappear past the hillside.
Yeah, we had a little wind coming up over that hill too, and it just picked that up over. We'll see if Coleton can come up clutch for us, though. Push the hole.
And just off the top band. That's quite unfortunate as Ethan and Bruce take out two skins from the pot there. Hole 4, par 3, 261. It's just dead straight with a touch of downhill at the end. So you guys are going to be throwing turnover shots or some kind of forehand dead straight, finishing to the right. Occasionally this basket is elevated, but not today, thank goodness, because that would just make this hole so much harder.
And after the big putt, Ethan giving that a rip right down the fairway. You know how that finished up?
Couldn't quite tell from the tee. Like I said, we were having some camera issues. We're hoping to get that corrected, but I think it looks like for the whole front nine we're going to have some issues there. My guess from what he would normally do is he finished up decently well, maybe something just outside the circle one, and Bruce throwing something pretty understable as well, just catching an early tree there, kicking back to the middle of the fairway. Nothing against them, you know, they got a couple of dollars on the board now, so they can kind of relax a little bit. Pressure's off just a hair. There's still a lot of golf left.
Yeah, and this is just a nice, pretty easy flick right down the middle. Just got to keep it down the middle. And I was just having a little issues, kind of the whole front nine, just sawing my flicks off a little bit, not pushing through all the way, but got a partner here.
And the whole yellow course right now is in, every basket is just about in the long position, and it is so hard to score sometimes when all these baskets are in the longs. It's just, finding that groove is just a little more difficult than it is when they're in the shorts. Didn't look like Coleton fared too much better there. There's Mark whipping out another D1, skipping a little far to the left. Maybe he's going to come back to the basket there. Elijah being the veteran player of this course, he's been playing the longest out of any of these guys you see today. Definitely no newbie to this course. Just look at that Anheuser shot coming in. Should be pretty close. Couldn't quite tell.
Yeah, I think that shot was pretty money. They was busting that maul back out. You got to think he was wanting to get a little redemption.
There's Ethan trying to continue that big putting streak. Just a hair too low. I mean, half an inch higher, and he would have been training another highlight putt for the round.
All over it right now, though.
It's exactly what you want to see out of the gate from somebody making big putts, being aggressive when you're just outside of the circle, trying to hit those circle twos and put the pressure on everybody. Definitely makes for some exciting skins.
All right, and now Coleton didn't get much further than me, but is out in the open. See if we can drain a long putt. And they don't call me Rob Lowe for nothing.
Just a little low from Rob as well. Something about the wind today is swirling out there. Maybe he's messing with everybody's heads a little bit, or just, maybe it was the cold. We'll be hoping that these guys can correct and get those putts up a little higher and make some more drama. And there's Coleton again, just off the bottom of the cage. Looks like Elijah's putt did work out too well. I told Mark to get out of the way and let Elijah take this solo too. He wasn't too happy, but I think Elijah deserves this too if he can make it. And he does. Cashing in for the points there. Big stuff from Elijah. Hole 5, par 3, 224. You've got an outside right backhand line that's a little wider, but it is a little bit poke and hope because you got to find a little gap through the trees or a little flex shot. You can see there super tight, but if you can hit it, you're almost guaranteeing a birdie.
Yeah, and there you're talking about that wide gap. Mark being a flick player, he is.
Oh, man, just over the top of the basket, it looked like.
Put a run on it.
That thing was coming in hot. Elijah playing a little safer, a little slower speed disc, just taking that small anhyzer, finding something inside the circle to give him a putt.
It looks like Ethan is drawing up to go with that poke and hope route you were talking about.
There's just that water. You see all that line of trees there. You just kind of have to hope that you make one of those gaps, and he managed to do it. Slid up there just beside the basket. So that's a guaranteed two coming in from these guys. You'd like to see Bruce put a little run on this, try to get some aces. We did throw a $50 ace spot in on this thing, backed by Prodigy and by Disc Dot. My sponsors there are giving me the leeway to kind of toss some money in the pot. Looks like not quite an ace run, but slid up there nicely. So they definitely have a birdie too, dropping the pressure on some of these guys.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Coleton playing that middle route, hung it out a little wide.
There you can see how tight that gap is. Or he just looked like he made the initial gap, not enough turn, and just connected with another one of those trees. That's the thing about this yellow course is there's so many just, it seems like it's so wide open, but if you're off your line just a little bit, you're going to connect with something and it's not going to give you the result you wanted.
Yeah, and I got down a little further outside circle though. Mid-range just never quite hooked up and came back. Coleton with the bid off the basket again.
Trying to catch some flames. They started out hot, taking the first hole, and cooled off a little bit. Still some time left in the game, but you got to see those players make those. I mean, partners there landing on top of each other. Not what you wanted to see, coming up short, but at least they're both there next to the basket.
And Elijah with the basketball hoopy hoop toss in there.
A signature flip putt you'll see him do anytime he's within 15. Sometimes you'll see him do it inside of 20, but not very often. Hole 6, par 3, 332. Just pretty much dead straight. This is in the B position, so it's in the straighter position. You got a little flex shot out to the right, or you're just throwing a gentle hyzer down and trying to hope for some kind of a putt.
Yeah, and this one's worth 2 skins as well since that last one pushed.
Looks like he's trying to force something over. Got a good result. Barely snuck in through those trees. They may have some kind of a putt at that. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, you get down there in the ditch, and you never really know what kind of rolls you can take, if you can get hunkered up behind a tree down there, some funky positioning with your feet.
It looks good out of Elijah's hand. Maybe hooked up a tad earlier than he wanted, but there's that straight to hyzer gap that you wanted. Just circling down there, giving himself a putt. Trying to find some easy options.
And Ethan.
Just a blister of a drive. Dead straight with one of those EMAC Truce. Looked like it had a pretty good result. I guess we'll find out here in a second. I think that is the opposite of what you want to see on this hole.
Ooh, first available? Yeah, that's never what you want. I need to come up here and make a good throw. I haven't really had a good tee shot yet. Need to carry my weight a little bit better than what I'm doing. Pulling out a Nate Perkins night strike right here.
Trying to night strike it all the way to the basket.
Heard that, and you see, I got the flip that I wanted. Kind of comes down. Down there, decent.
Looks like it had some good finish. It should be, what, circle's edge-ish, you think?
A little bit outside. Yeah.
See if Coleton can get y'all just a little closer. Similar line to Ethan. Got a little bit of turn. Doesn't look like it ever came back, though. Just looked like it kept turning.
That actually was an amazing shot. We should be down there for a putt.
Another big-time putt from Ethan. You can see how much Anheuser he gives those long jump putts. But just a little bit too far. You can see all those trees there where you just missed the line. You're penalized just a little bit for it. But I'm not sure if anybody's close, so as long as they can give this a good bid and get them close for a 3, this could probably get away with being a push. Just a hair short. Oh, I stand corrected. There are people close to the basket. Look at that. I think we even got the rangefinder, the Bushnell out to see who got a CTP for this hole. I think we forgot to announce that Coleton got a CTP on 3 as well. So $5 for Coleton on 3, and I guess somebody.
I'm thinking it's going to be Coleton again for this one.
That's what it's looking like so far. I haven't seen you or Coleton's putt yet, so I think that it's going to bring down. I think you were a little on the right side, so I think Coleton gets it.
And E-Dog just with a big, giant step putt right there.
So that's just a great drive from Coleton. Exactly what you want to see. Nice push. Hole 7, par 3, 320. Now, on the last putt you saw Elijah make, if you remember from the last video, he had that super, what I called an elegant fall, and he made fun of me for that. But he was taking his time on that putt, making sure he didn't slip and fall again because it was a little muddy right there. You got 2 lines. The line that Mark just tried to take there through those trees is not quite the...
Yeah, not a traditional route that you usually see taken, but he bobbed and weaved his way all the way down there. It was crazy.
He made it through. It's not, I mean, like you said, it's not the traditional. It's not what I would go with. But you do see some players take it that can't throw that straight to hyzer route there. I mean, that is tight, so no slight to these folks for hitting any of those trees. It's tough to hit a gap that's that tight, that far off the tee, unless you're playing on the Pro Tour. I mean, those guys make it look super easy.
And Coleton actually making that look pretty easy. He pipes it, getting pretty darn close down there for a putt.
You saw that disc flare up at the end. Now, there is OB that is long of the basket and left of the basket with that road coming in place. So you got to be careful because that basket kind of borders up against the road, but I think Coleton's going to be a little short, so they shouldn't have to worry about that too much.
Yeah, and I'm trying to swing it around as well, too. I made it through a lot. I do, unfortunately, catch a little tree. There is a backdoor route you can take. The local route, one might say.
The local route. Well, let's just hope some of the other guys don't take the local route for kicks like that. That's an unfortunate kick from Ethan. Just kicked him all the way to the road over there. Stayed in bounds, but it's going to put him in a tough position for a 3. So as it sits now, Coleton is the only person that looks to be decently close. I mean, Mark's drive may have squeezed up there, but it's kind of an unknown at this point.
Yeah, right now I've just been kind of riding Coleton's, coattail here a little bit. Bruce right there just pushed it a little right, had good power on it, but just kind of on that line straight to that tree, unfortunately.
A little more than halfway up the fairway. Giving this a good bid, like I said earlier. First person runs it, second one lays up. And in this case, it stayed close enough where both of these guys should be running it. Looks like Ethan's bagging a bite, which is traditionally a dog disc, but it is PDGA approved. And never quite got the turn. Soars straight out of bounds. That's not the kind of bid you want to be giving it. But, I mean, props for bagging a dog disc there.
Yeah, man. Maybe meet a new friend out on the course or something.
He's bringing that big dog attitude. I don't quite know what he's trying to pull there, but another good bid from Mark. Just a hair low and off to the side, but easy cleanup for par. So it looks like his drive did squeak through with that D1. I remember when I gave him that first Prodigy disc, he was pretty stoked to throw it. Getting a little flippy. Maybe need to get him another one. Give him something a little more stable. Here comes this. Maybe another step putt from Elijah.
This is definitely in that range where he likes to do it. Decides not to and just pushes it a little far right.
But again, 2 teams cleaning up an easy par. So if y'all can capitalize this, it's worth $30.
Yeah, Colton's drive didn't get as close as we thought, but this is still a putt that we should be able to handle. And there's big old air ball.
Just another hair wide. We're still waiting on you to catch a little bit of fire here, but we know big things are coming. Hopefully, it is just the first 7 holes, so there's still a little bit of golf left after this.
Oh yeah, right now a lot of times you just gotta, tell yourself, hey, at least the holes are pushing when you're playing skins, and just put this hole behind you, get ready for the next one.
Just another one low off the cage. You saw him kind of squat down. He really wanted to make that one. A little frustrated that he didn't, but like Rob said, the hole's pushing. All 3 pars, so we're rolling into hole 8. So no slight to these guys. Look at that handsome face from Coleton right there. Who couldn't love that guy? Hole 8, par 3, 208 feet. The road does play out of bounds like a river. So you've got the wide hyzer skipping off the road, trying for this easy ace, or just a straight shot, just hovering right into the basket. There is this ace pot rolling in, so we were heavily encouraging these guys to give it some good runs here. Nothing too crazy from Mark there. And there's that over-the-road play. But coming up just a little bit on the short side there.
Getting a little rolled, though, so...
I think he said he was just trying to make sure that this hole either pushed or guaranteed him a birdie instead of going for that ace. I don't complain him. These skins are starting to stack up a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm just flicking kind of something close right here. I'll let Coleton take the run on this one with the nice backhand that he has.
Think about it. Win the hole with an ace, get $50 for an ace, and $40 to split between your team on the hole. That'd be huge.
And there...
Ooh, maybe just short, just long. Hard to tell.
Long. That plan almost came to perfection right there, though.
We had Nathan Cole on the catch cam. We appreciate him doing that for us, and he said that was just inches from going in the basket, which is exciting to see. You can see everybody get hyped up there. Just an uncharacteristic shot from Ethan. Looks like he was throwing maybe a chameleon pure there. No.
Didn't have quite the commitment, it seemed like, that you'd want.
Not quite for an ace. That's what he kind of said he was going to do, and just, I don't know if he changed his mind or what. And there's that kind of more direct route. You can see him Bruce throwing that little Anheuser harp shot there.
Yeah, and we're actually going to take my lie right here. Coleton skipped a little further than mine. Try to push this hole.
Looks like those trees are in your way pretty good.
Yeah, just needed a real awkward straddle to hit my first putt of the day. You know how it goes sometimes.
But you hit it. Maybe that's what can get you started here. Another pushes, pushing into hole 9, par 3, 339. I would argue that this is the hardest hole of the front 9, with the road and a cross playing us out of bounds. You got to get that thing either pretty low to the ground on a hyzer, making sure you skip back to the basket, or throwing his Anheuser shot like Mark did. Unfortunately, he hyzered out into the OB, so they're going to be relying on Elijah to get something inbound safe.
Yeah, this is definitely a scoring hole right here. So let's see if anybody can take advantage of it.
All these guys can throw that far, and it's definitely in the range. So looks like Elijah just played super safe and conservative, threw something up there, maybe somewhere in circle 2, just outside of circle 2, hoping that somebody else throws OB or doesn't quite get as close. There's that low line, dead straight. Didn't want to play with the OB, got a good skip. I don't know, what do you think? Maybe circle 1, outside circle 1?
Yeah, circle 2, I believe, really close to circle 1. I'm actually going to try the same line that Mark tried, and unfortunately probably get the same result, I believe.
I don't know. It had some good Anheuser out of your hand, but
definitely fades out at the end. Just didn't turn it over enough.
Maybe cut a tree too. It's hard to tell. White disc on a white sky background. It's tough to follow. We'll see if Ethan can get up there. There's that over the road play, catching some of the road skip.
Wow.
Looked like it was pretty good.
That's a great shot. That's definitely putting the pressure on the other teams and kind of taking it off of his partner here to just have a nice committed shot.
Coleton put you guys up there to have some kind of a putt. It looks like Mark and Elijah came up a little short, so they're going to be a little more on the struggle side. But if Bruce here can get something close, give him some options. There's that wide over the road play, getting really aggressive and fully committing.
Yeah, wow, that's a great shot.
Coming in real close. That's couldn't ask for much better.
We have a lot of skins on the line right here. 5 skins. So, ooh.
A good bid from Mark, especially from that distance. Well, maybe 100 out.
Yes, just definitely.
Getting him close, even giving him that good bid. What we call a green light from Elijah. He's going to be trying to flick this in. Now, yesterday he did go work, or the day before, I'm sorry, he did go put 9 holes in the ground at a college course we're putting in Paragould about 30 minutes away. So his hands are a little stiff and tired. He definitely said not to film some of these shots. That shot looks pretty good. No faults for him for running that one there.
Yeah.
Definitely just outside of circle 1. Can't quite keep that streak going from the last putt after he finally found his legs.
No, and Coleton needs to hit this to put the pressure on Bruce and Ethan, who are in circle 1. Let's see what we got.
He's faking us out with cameras there, giving his little practice bids. Good height, just a hair wide it looked like, maybe chained out. And that's just unfortunate. And Ethan low too.
So 5 skins on the line right here.
I mean, we're taking Bruce's drive and Bruce's, which means if he can capitalize on this right here, this is a $50 putt on the line. And he just drains it, which is fantastic for those guys. Taking $50, that brings Ethan and Bruce up to $70. Elijah and Mark at $10. Coleton and Rob at $10 as well, with Coleton at $10 worth of CTPs. Big thanks to Prodigy and Disc from supporting me and the Jonesboro Disc Golf Club, and to Rob for helping us put this on. Stay tuned for the back nine coverage, guys.
We'll see you soon.